Let's start to discuss something basics of cryptography which is helpful to hide the data. How that is possible? For that we need to satisfy with some sort of goals to secure the messages. That is what the data hiding. Let us see some sort of goals to secure the message. The first goal is confidentiality. Using this confidentiality, we can keep the message private, means the data with whatever we are trying to transmit or whatever we have to keep secret, that is not in a readable format. That is called a confidentiality of the message. Now integrity, that is meaning of the integrity is during the transmission of the message must be not tempered. So how we can identify whether the message is tempered by someone else or not? So for that we can check the integrity of the message, that is the message has not been altered in transit. Authentication, that is for recipient has ensured that the message is really came from the particular author or a authorized person or not. So for that authentication is one of the important part for the secure messaging. And non-repudiation is basically for during when any of the author has complete the particular message or transmit the message, then that person or author may not deny for that particular message transmission or the execution of that process. So that for that non-repudiation is there, means author may not later claim that she did not write a certain message. It's a very basic part for secure the messaging. How we can achieve this particular goal? So for the confidentiality, the symmetric key system or asymmetric key system we can have, and using that we can achieve the confidentiality. But for the symmetric key system, for the asymmetric key system, they all have its own benefits and drawbacks. We'll see what happened in a symmetric key system and asymmetric key system. First of all, let's see symmetric key system. The name says a symmetric key system means the same key is used to perform encryption and decryption of the message. For example, Alice wants to send the message to the Bob, then Alice generate the key and use that key to encrypt the message, and Alice send that key along with the encrypted message to the Bob, so Bob can decrypt that message. So likewise is one of the way to provide the confidentiality onto the message. There are some advantages for this. That is what, it's a very simple process, because to encrypt the data and decrypt the data, same key they need. Then it's a very fast process, it need a less number of computer resources and all. But a main disadvantage of the message for the symmetric key system is it need a secure channel for the secret key exchange, because if key compromise, then the complete message may compromise. So because of that, we have to keep the key, secret key, secure. A number of keys are required. If we have a two user or a one sender and receiver, then it's not a big issue. But if we have a number of recipient and a single sender, then for the each and every pair we need a different number of keys, and because of that a key distribution is also one of the big issue for the symmetric key system. Now, so that problem, how we can overcome that problem? So to sort out that issue, we can have a symmetric key system. For the asymmetric key system, we can have a two different keys. One key is used for the encryption and second key is used to decrypt the data. For the two different keys, one key is called a private key and one key is called a public key. Private key kept secret and that can never be shared with any of the person, and public key is available with all the people. So using that, the person can encrypt the message and send it to the particular or a recipient, and recipient using its own private key, recipient can decrypt the message. with this particular way, asymmetric key system, it can sort out the problem of key distribution, which is a big issue of symmetric key system. So the advantages of the system is it's a very convinced, and the message authentication is also performed. How that is possible? Because if Alice wants to communicate with the Bob, then Alice first of all generate the public and the private key. Public key is already public key of Alice is already available in the market, and private key of Alice is available. It's available secretly with the Alice only. Now when Bob wants to send the message to the Alice, Bob encrypt the message using public key of the Alice and send that message, encrypted message, to the Alice. Alice can decrypt that message using her own private key. So a likewise message authentication is also performed, because other than Alice nobody can decrypt that message, because that is encrypted by Alice private key. Detection of tampering is also done. Non-repudiation is also performed with the asymmetric key system. The disadvantage of the system is public key must be authenticated. How the people can know whether this public key is really the particular person's public key or not? The process is quite slow. It uses a more number of computer resources, and loss of private key may be irreparable. For example of asymmetric key system, here you can see Alice obtain a Bob's public key and encrypt the message using that key. Only Bob's private key can decrypt the message, which ensures that only Bob can read the message. We have already discussed this example. Asymmetric key system also provide integrity, data origin, authentication, and a non-repudiation. Alice can use her private key to sign a document, and Bob knows that the message really came from Alice and that the message has not been altered in a transit. So this is one of the way, or one of the concept which we can say it's a digital signature. So likewise, using asymmetric key system, it also provides the integrity, authentication, and non-repudiation. How digital signature is possible with integrity? So digital signature also provide integrity via process called hashing. A hash also encrypt a message, but in this case the goal is not a confidentiality. Here we all only concentrate how integrity of the message is maintained. A hash, that is a non-invertible or a one-way function, which means that once a hash is performed on a message, you cannot get the original message back. A one-way encryption, what hash algorithm defines? A one-way encryption algorithm that takes a message of any length and produces a small or a unique output message. You can say the analogy for that, that is what the fingerprint. How hashing creates a signature? This is what the complete process to create the signature for any of the message. Alice hashes her message that encrypt the hash with her private key. This process creates a signature that is appended to the plain text message. Bob obtains Alice's public key, decrypt the signature to uncover the plain text hash, and then runs the same hash function on the plain text message. You can see here the complete diagram, how signing message that is done by the Alice. This is what the message which is signed by Alice. So it first of all generate the hash on that message. So the output of that is called a message digest. Then apply the encryption on that message digest, that is called encrypted digest, that is called a digital signature. And then that digital signature is append with that message. So we can say this message is digitally signed by Alice. Now that message is sent by Alice to the Bob. When Bob receives that message, how Bob can see whether this message is tempered by any other person or not? So for that encrypted digest. First of all, it decrypt that message using Alice public key. Then after that message digest is compared with the origin, it generate the hash of that original message. If both hash is equal, then Bob can understand, okay, the message is not tempered by any of the person, and this is the this message is sent by the Alice. So this is the process how message is digitally signed and how we can check the integrity using with the digital signature. Reduce the overhead of asymmetric system. Asymmetric system provide the better security, but a symmetric system provide better performance. So overall overhead is reduced, but how that is possible? So the solution for that is use the symmetric key system to encrypt and decrypt the data and to provide the security on the public and private on the symmetric key system. Use public and private key to perform the encryption and decryption onto the symmetric key. So likewise we can kept secret key or a symmetric key secret or secure, and overhead can also be reduced. So this is what about the basic information for a cryptography. For asymmetric system, symmetric system, using asymmetric system, how we can provide the confidentiality as well as integrity, authentication and non-repudiation. Thank you.